Welcome back to MVGA Podcast. Here at Make Veterans Great Again, our mission is to reach out to fellow brothers and sisters to conquer our mental health together. Today, I'd like to introduce Terpy Tammy, founder and owner of Tom's Palms. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for coming out tonight. How have you been today?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
I've been great. It's been a little cloudy today, and it doesn't always make me feel so good, but
Right.
I'm doing good. Having a good day so far.
That's great. And I appreciate you coming here because you've always been so supportive of me since we've met or connected on Instagram. So I really appreciate you.
No problem.
And I can't wait to hear your
appreciate
story.
what you do.
Thank you. So let's hear your story. Let's talk about your childhood.
My childhood. Whoa, he's going deep, going back to my childhood.
It was only 25 years ago?
Well, I actually turned 60 this year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank
you look
you.
amazing.
Thanks. That's cute. Got to get used to that noise there. Okay. You embarrassed me a little bit.
Go
Okay,
ahead
so
and blush. It's okay.
childhood. Let's see. Grew up in Norwalk, California, which is LA County. My dad was a Teamster truck driver who was known as Big Tom. Many people today in the Teamster world still know who Big Tom from LA is. He always helped people and saw people along the road while he's driving, holding up signs to eat, and he'd stop to eat and invite them in to eat with him. He'd let them order whatever they wished to eat from wherever that was, and pray for them, witness to them a little bit, and kind of send them on their way. I've seen him many times help the elderly, didn't have a way to move if they needed to move from one place to another, rent a truck and move their stuff for them. He did many things like that. He wasn't a wealthy man as far as money went, but he was wealthy in just about everything else.
Okay, wealthy and generosity.
Yes.
And I see where Tom's Palms came from.
Yes.
But how was your childhood for you?
It was pretty good. I think I lived a little bit of a sheltered life. I wasn't made aware of a lot of things in the world. My parents were Southern Baptists, so I was raised very strict. And when I was a teenager and started smoking pot at 12, when I'd come in the door, my mom would be standing in the hallway, thumping her foot. Okay, walk over here and let me smell you. Then I'd be on restriction for a while or something, They were very strict on those restrictions. Like, they started a week, then they go 2 weeks. They could be up to a month at times. So my parents were very strict.
Did you feel the punishment fit the crime?
Of course not when you're that age. You never think so. Now I look back at it, if they would have known a little bit more about marijuana and what it actually does for your body, maybe they wouldn't have been so concerned.
Right. Do you feel that marijuana at that age, though, was a good age?
No, of course not.
Okay.
And now I can say that. No, it wasn't. But I had a neighbor who was doing it. She was a couple years older than I was. So I was like, hey, that looks cool. I'd first started smoking cigarettes first with her. And then a couple weeks later, she had a joint. And I was like, hey, this smells weird. What's that? She goes, here, have a hit. It'll make you feel good. Liked it from that moment on, to tell you the truth.
Okay. So you got into it because of peer pressure, in a sense?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that affected your childhood?
Well, I was 12. So my teenage years were hanging out in the field, as they called it, out in Santa Fe High School. Hey, chieftains. So we hung out in the baseball field, and it was known as the Stoner Field. We got high on marijuana and other things. The other things was what they at school was more concerned about, because the narcs used to come out and smoke joints with us, no problem. It's kind of funny. We knew who all the narcs were, but you hid everything else from them. Because, of course, back in that day when you're a teenager, when you try one thing, I gotta quit hitting that. You try one thing, you'll try another. It's pretty simple to do as a teenager. It made you feel good. Oh, something else can make me feel good too. I'll try it. So acid was probably my number one downfall.
Okay.
At 16, learning to drive. Should be doing acid when you're driving. I was in an accident while I was driving and smoking it after doing acid. And it wasn't a very good accident. I actually have had back problems my whole life since that accident. I was sandwiched between two cars. I gotta quit saying
Don't get in your head. You're doing just fine.
So at that point, though, I quit doing other drugs. I was only doing marijuana, and that I did much better with that. I did better in school. I finished school at continuation school and did my GED because I thought I was smarter than the teachers. I was making more money than they were at the time. I was already working. I'd worked since I was 14. So my jobs went up, and I moved up into the world of, I was giving people credit and saying whether or not you could raise your credit limit.
Okay.
And at 17 and 18 years old. So I got my GED, quit working there, and went on to medical field. I started working in the hospitals and learned a lot there. After the hospitals, I started working in doctors' offices, and I've worked in the medical field most of my life. I'm actually now a medical insurance specialist when I became disabled and had an injury 3 times in the year to my ankle and my Achilles tendon. Unfortunately, I had surgery, spinal cord stimulators, pleural, which exacerbated my condition, and now it's full-blown, full-body. And the stimulators had to be removed, which was a trippy thing to go through because it's on your spinal cord, and they removed it with a laser.
Okay.
So I've been through a lot.
That sounds kind of scary.
Yeah, it was very scary. And I was a young mom at that time with 2 children.
Yeah, you're going through a lot.
So that's my basic life that I went through to get to where I'm at. And this community taught me about CBD.
Okay.
So I'd smoked marijuana. It's 48 years I've been smoking marijuana, by the way.
Okay.
So to learn about CBD about 9 years ago, I've been out of a wheelchair for 9 years now.
That's awesome.
Thank you to Earl Cup showed me about CBD and how to dab. I'd never dabbed before either. Now dabbing THC takes away from needing pain pills and all of that, because I was up to 26 different pills a day.
Wow.
And that's quite a prescription load. And that included Percocets, and sometimes I was on fentanyl patches or fentanyl suckers. And I have not had fentanyl in so long, I can't remember. I don't want to remember.
I didn't even know they made suckers of fentanyl.
They do.
I have a question about your childhood, though, and I hope you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all.
See, I'm saying too, so we're even. You started to smoke at a young age. Do you feel like that you had certain traumas or something that you were trying to escape from that early in life that led you to being okay with smoking? Or was it just the crowd you were around?
I think it was just the crowd I was around, to be honest with you.
Okay. Your high school years reminds me of the movie Dazed and Confused. Were you chasing around kids with paddles, too?
No, I wasn't. Not with paddles.
Okay.
No.
Not with paddles. Okay,
no.
So...
with joints, maybe.
Okay. Hugs, right? Chasing with hugs.
Yeah.
All
well, partied quite a bit. There's quite a bit to get into trouble with when you hang around certain crowds. I hung around the music crowd quite a bit. I have a nephew that played in Queen's Right. He's a drummer for many years there, and I've known... Well, Metallica, I've hung out when they did a lot of their studio stuff. I hung out in the studio. They did a lot of backyard concerts in my day, and in Norwalk there, they did a couple of them there. So it's just been a lot of people we hung out with. The guys who sung "Eye of the Tiger." My husband was in the music studio with them when they did that song, actually.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of different things you hang around. So. I'm sorry, I lost track of your question now.
It was okay. You answered it. It was about if you felt like you had any trauma that led you to being okay with smoking at such a young age.
I think it was just everybody I was around smoked it, was okay with it, other than my family.
So how was marijuana or cannabis regarded when you were growing up opposed to how it was now or maybe like 5-10 years ago?
So I was born in 1963. My parents, back in the day, the White House had all this stuff out there. Marijuana was the evil drug. You had to stay away from it. It leads to other things, which maybe it did as a teenager. As an adult, I don't know if I would have tried those other things.
Right.
But it does lead to other things. And my parents were like, oh no, what is she doing out there? And this marijuana is bad for you. My aunt and uncle They used to sit me down and say, "Come on, Tammy, do you need us to take you to counseling?" And I'm like, "Oh, Lord, no, please don't take me to counseling. Don't be locking me up somewhere because I smoke marijuana." Like, it was a serious conversation in my family about doing that.
Okay.
They never did, thank God. I told them, I did research on it myself. I said, "Do you know that our government tests marijuana and they know how good it is for you?" I would show them proof of it over the years, every time they mentioned it. And then when I did the CBD and got out of the wheelchair, and my family saw that years later, they're like, "Wait, what? No way." Not because of that. Until they went and visited with me to my doctor. They actually went with me to my doctor and found out how my doctor weaned me off my meds and helped me to get onto more CBD and more marijuana and learn how to use it properly. And all my friends out here in Arizona helped me learn all this process of how to use it correctly. Now I eat it, drink it, rub it, and smoke it.
Okay.
Like
Getting it all
CBD and
aspects.
THC.
Okay.
It does so many different things for your body, and it was meant for us to do. As women, we have cannabinoids in our breast milk when we're feeding our babies when they're newborns. Like, if anybody thinks cannabinoids are wrong with them, come talk to me. I want to show them they're wrong.
Okay, so let's just say I think that's wrong. Explain to me why it's right. Educate me, please.
Well, I just told you one
Outside,
of them.
okay, but not what it has done for you. Okay, I understand it got you out of the wheelchair, but what has it done for you medically in a sense? Like, do you understand what I'm trying to
Well, sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I could totally answer that right because I'm not into the marijuana quite as much as knowledgeable like the bud tenders here at AOR. You know?
I just want your personal...
Personally, I know that it helps me stay away from other drugs.
Okay.
Especially prescription drugs, those ones that you don't want to take, that make you feel so bad. You have lots of side effects from them. You're ill at the stomach all the time. One thing is, when I was pregnant with my kids, I was 28 with the first one, 32 with the second one. I lost 60 pounds in the first 3 months of pregnancy with both of my children. If I did not smoke marijuana, I believe today my children would not be here. I believe I might not have even been here if I was not able to use cannabis during that time. Back then, they didn't test you like they do now. So we didn't have to think about it or worry about hiding that first diaper or whatever, you know?
Right.
It's just different.
So
Different. And for your healthy, like, it builds up in your body. And if you don't continue to do it, it will not continue to help you. So it is something you have to do on a constant basis. And it's so different. So I could get into this in so many different ways. If you get in trouble and they test you, they're testing you for marijuana. Okay, each person, depending on how long you've been doing it, affects you differently. Depending on your weight, or you have a little fat on you, the fat stores THC. You can actually, they say 3 months it gets out of your body. If I had to quit it, it would probably take 6 months to a year to get out of my body all the way, fully. But I need to continue getting it into my body in order for it to help my pain, to help my head, because no matter what, we're all mental cases, come on, admit it, every one of us, no matter what, growing up in your life, no matter what you do, in this world today, and we've all been through COVID, come on, we all change mentally, all of us. So it helps me, and if I didn't have that, I don't know, they might have to put me in a loony bin bed.
Could you explain what the cannabinoids in the breast milk does, or like the natural ones first?
I'm not sure, I just know we create them. Okay. You talk to Jeffro, he's the one that explains that so fully to detail. I wish I could explain it exactly like he does, but he's very good at explaining that part. He's spoken with many women community groups and things and describing that. Yeah,
Jeffro's an amazing man, and he's very educational for sure. Yes. He's a walking book of knowledge for sure.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so what did you do for like 4 to 8 years after high school or your continuation school?
Well, I graduated. I kept working the full time. I always had a job. I've never not had a job until the doctor I worked for said any longer, you can no longer work. You're throwing up all the time. Where I'm going to sign you up for whatever. I'm going to help you get on disability. Like, you just can't keep working like this, Tam, you know. And your question was, because I got off track.
Well, I have a new question, so we're going to get back on track that way.
Good.
Were you thrown up because you were pregnant or because you were
No,
something
this
else?
was during my disability while I was so ill with my disease that I have, reflex sympathetic dystrophy syndrome. It's another name for it, if they can't prove you have it, is chronic regional pain syndrome. It's something that affects your sympathetic nervous system, and it affects your muscle, tendons, and nerves. They feel like you have hot coals burning you all the time inside. So to learn to live with that is another head trip. And the number one killer of RSD is suicide.
Okay.
So, yeah, marijuana is a big one that helps me.
Well, that is amazing because I really do believe that cannabis, marijuana, whatever you want to call it, used properly, can play a huge positive toll on your mental and physical health.
Right.
Because, I don't know, there's like situations, right, when my wife and I were first dating and we broke up and we were mad at each other and all that. It was like, I was crying like a little baby, you know, and I was really hurt. And then I remember that's when I like started to like take cannabis, and I would eat an edible, and I'd be able to think about the same things that hurt me during the day, but I was able to like laugh about them, like cope with it, like come to terms with it, understand certain things, see why it happened. And I really hope that therapists become more open to, or there becomes more therapists that allow you to participate during your therapeutic session, because I feel like that would help me substantially. And so I'm very interested in hearing, like, is your doctor out here that weaned you off of prescriptions and taught you how to properly use medical marijuana?
So she did teach me how to use medical marijuana. She was very interested in it and was very fine with it and knew a lot about it. She helped me wean off my meds as I was feeling I could. She told me what doses I could take and how to knock it down. The hardest one to get off of was gabapentin. That was an awful drug, and they try to give it to me now and then. I mean, end up in the emergency rooms. I tell them no. It's one drug I will never take again. Never, ever, ever. Never, ever.
Is gabapentin like a pain medicine or a mental health medicine?
It's actually a nerve pain medicine is what it is.
Okay.
But it has so many awful side effects. One of the biggest ones is that CBD helped me with, that I didn't know it was going to help me with. I've lost 205 pounds.
Congratulations.
Actually, they told me this last year, I've lost another 20. So actually,
That's
it's
awesome.
225 pounds now.
That's awesome.
And CBD is what helped me with that.
Okay.
Because it helped me get off some of those drugs. But gabapentin is one of those drugs, when you take it, a side effect is it keeps weight on you. It puts weight on you. It adds weight to you. So know that as a side effect, to be very careful when you're taking that drug. If you're taking it, to be careful of your eating habits.
Okay. And how, when you first started taking CBD, did you notice instantly? Or have you ever taken fish oil and you don't notice it's working until you stop taking fish oil and everything hurts? Is that how CBD works for you?
Yes.
Or do you feel it maybe not instantly, but couple of days in, did you start to feel and like, oh, okay, I can move like this again or something? So
the very first time I tried CBD was a dab of CBD isolate, which when I saw that, I was like, you guys are crazy.
I didn't even know that.
It looks like cocaine when you see it.
Really?
It's white powder.
Okay.
And they had to talk me into it. They're like, really? It couldn't be here at Oral Cup offices if it wasn't legal. Like, honest, it's legal. So I'm like, okay. So I tried the dab of that, and it was like breathing. I can remember it still. It was like breathing a breath of fresh air. It seriously was. It was like my body went, whoa, what was that? That felt really good. And to this day, I don't do much CBD that makes you feel, as far as tincture goes, it won't make you feel anything. But if you want to dab some CBD isolate or some good CBD shatter, I'm sorry, I know we're in AO, but Canamo sells CBD shatter that's really awesome. And it's $12 a gram, and BOGO's on Saturdays.
Okay.
So it's really good to dab that, and trust me, you feel good after you use that.
Do I still have something on my shoulder?
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
told you I have
fine.
a bad habit.
You're fine. I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, I did not know CBD came in that many different forms, right? I knew there was tincture and I knew there was flower. I did not know you could dab it or have it in powder. And does it?
Tincture is what I use first thing in the morning. I do tincture when I get up, and I do it 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night. And sometimes I do it right before bed again if I'm having a real bad pain day.
Okay.
You always do it before you do your THC. It doesn't take your THC down like a lot of people think. It can kind of mellow you out, but doesn't really do anything as far as that goes. As far as taking it before your THC, it actually can make your THC levels go a little higher as far as it affects you. Your effects of your THC will be stronger and last you a little longer. So I suggest somebody try it a couple of times and see what you think before you do your THC.
Okay. And do you think there are any side effects to CBD or THC?
No, and CBD is one you cannot take too much of. It's legal in every single state in the United States of America. And in 2019 in Arizona, it was deemed legal for police officers to do it on duty.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that. Thank you for educating me.
No problem.
So, what do you do with cannabis now? You know what? Let's just talk about Tom's Palms, and then we'll
Okay.
figure it out from there.
Okay.
So, tell me, Tom's Palms came from your dad?
Yes.
Okay.
Tom was my dad. Tom's Palms, kids would give out. It actually had a really long name when we first started it. I wanted to call it, because my friend Eric, we started from his music studio, and his grandma had a kitchen when he was growing up, a soup kitchen. And she raised him. So hers was pie, was peace. I forget the rest of it. But I started as Peace with Tom's Helping Hands was the very first name of Tom's Palms. The name was so long with everything we tried to do, we eventually changed it down. Every once in a while I use the hashtag PWTH, HH. But that was the first name of it, so we named it shorter.
Okay. Yeah, Make Veterans Great Again is kind of long too, so I get that. And can you explain a little bit more about Tom's Palms and what you do there?
So we feed and clothe the less fortunate. That is our entitlement that we put out there of what we do. Not entitlement, that's the wrong word. Couldn't think of the right word.
It's your mission statement.
Our mission statement, that's it, thank you.
You're welcome.
Our mission statement. Sorry. We
You're
feed
okay.
and clothe the less fortunate. We get water donation has been awesome this summer. So I told you I turned 60 in June. So we put out there for my birthday, I wanted 60 cases to hand out for my birthday gift. I really did not ask for any other gifts, and I really haven't received much because we receive so much water, which is so awesome. We appreciate it so much. This Arizona cannabis community is stepping up to the plate. We have handed out over 24,500 bottles since June 1st. And
That's
this Sunday will be 25,000 after this
Okay.
Sunday. So we're getting some more out there this week on Sunday also.
Okay, so tell us about Sunday.
Sunday we meet at our storage pod, 9 a.m. We have
Is that in
water,
Scottsdale?
ice in Scottsdale.
Okay.
It is. We usually put the address up. I hope you're following us at tomspalms.com. Tom's Palms. So you watch us anywhere. Just put Tom's Palms in your URL. You'll find us all over the place.
Okay. So 9 a.m.
9 a.m. we
Scottsdale.
meet there. You've been out with
I
us
have.
and brought your beautiful little girl.
We both enjoyed it.
She was so cute out there and
She
so
was a
helpful.
big helper, too,
She was
actually,
very
so.
helpful. We do not have any cannabis at our give backs. It's something if you choose to do in your car after you leave, go for it. Or at home, I hope you're being safe. So do that. And then we go downtown to the zone. Lately, there's been so many people in the zone with such a need. We've not been able to leave the zone with anything to go anywhere else. Many times we were able to leave there and go down the 17 freeway, and we usually end up down at Park at Dunlap and 39th or 35th, and then we end up over at Bethany Home and 59th, the double park there. But we have not made it over there lately because the need has been so needy at the zone, which is downtown Arizona. We start out, if you did not want to meet us at our storage in Scottsdale, usually by 10:30, 11 o'clock, we start off at Just a Center. It's JUSTA Center. We start there first. That is the senior center here. The seniors do stay around it quite often. They did do a cleanup there recently. That cleanup has stayed clean right there. There's actually quite a few areas we did help down there that are cleaned up. They put some people in a hotel, and the rest of them are still down in the zone.
How do you feel about that cleanup? Like, what is it? I'm not as, like, boots on the ground there, I guess, to say, so I don't know if that was a good or a bad thing. I want to hear from your opinion.
It was both.
Okay.
The worst thing about it that made it awful, I'll say the awful part first, is they come in, they tell you, get up, go, now. And they start early in the morning because they don't want you to know. These people knew they were coming, but they did not know exactly when. So they just show up early morning, tell you, razzle you up, get up, move, now. You don't have time to take in your goods. You don't have time to pick up anything you own. So mind you, someone wake you up out of your bed and tell you, get up and get out. You can't take anything with you that you own. That's what they do. They lose everything because they say, we will help you find everything. We'll help you with that ID. We'll help you with the roof over your head, all this stuff. But their personal belongings are there. Like, everything they own is there. It's so sad. And what did they do? They came in with tractors and stuff and just dug it all up out of the ground. And I get it's an issue. It's such an issue. But if they could put all those people up somewhere, why did they do it to all the other people down there? Why? I don't understand. There's so many empty buildings. And then our government gets $21 million from the federal government to help our homeless. Do you know what our state of Arizona did with that? They voted to give it to the police department and out here. The police department to help get the homeless off the streets and get them out of the parks. So now you see that on your ballot to vote. You see that everywhere. Go vote for having some more security and police in your schools, having it out in your parks, having it out in the streets. It's in the ballots. I see them on the streets right now. Everywhere. Vote for this. You're not going to have taxes on it. Your taxes aren't going to get raised if you vote for this. Why? Because they just got that $21 million. What did they do with that $21 million? Because they gave it all to the cities. Each little city got a portion of that. So we're in Glendale, right? Glendale got 4 beds at Cass. Cass opened up a new Cass here in Glendale, which is awesome. If you're a senior and you need help, Cass is where you need to go. In Glendale, they have more open beds right now because the one in Phoenix is way over full.
Okay.
Justice Center is also here. Justice Center and Cass is here. So the police department got 4 beds is what they got out of that $21 million. So when they find 4 people in the community here in Glendale can go stay in Cass for that program. You're a special 4 people that they're going to walk you through a program, get you housing, get you a job, get you everything you need, and get you back into society. For 4 people in Glendale. How did I find this out? Speaking with the sergeant that was working that day over at the park at Bethany Home and 59th Avenue. And I have his information because he gave it to me because he said, I can't fill those 4 beds. So what do you mean you can't fill those 4 beds? Nobody wants to talk to the police and get into those 4 beds. I said, dude, I'll have those 4 beds filled for you. Trust me, in a couple of days, I will have those beds filled. I turned around and walked away, and there was a man in his car with 3 babies. And his wife was working at the Circle K across the street as the manager. They had just been locked out of their home the night before and had nothing and didn't know what to do. I said, do you mind dealing with the police? I have an offer for you. He said, I don't mind if it gets us off the streets. I said, just a minute. And I went over to that police officer. I said, I got those 4 beds filled. He said, really? Where? I said, please come talk to this man and his babies. And he did, and they left together, and they got off the streets that day.
That's amazing.
So those things happen, they work, but take a step, take that extra step. If that police officer had taken that extra step and actually walked over and talked to that car with those kids in there, like, you know, they were driving around that park looking for homeless. Did they check the cars? No.
No.
You know, yeah.
So what do you think should be done? What would you like to see done?
Somebody give me a building. I know it sounds bad, but really, we're looking for a building. We've been dealing with Guarded Hope now, who's been in the community for 10 years, over 10 years, helping the community, the homeless community. We're looking for a building together. We can pay rent if we need to, but we know that there are open buildings out here no one's using. We can give them a tax receipt for their goodwill of sharing that building with us and taking a lower percentage or a lower rate for a monthly fee for that. We know one nonprofit pays $10 a month for one they have, and that includes a kitchen in that one.
Okay.
So we would love, and it's zoned for feeding. Like, we so want a place like that. That would be so awesome.
And what do you plan on doing at this building? Are you going to offer shelter for homeless, food and clothes, or?
So we would love to, of course, start off with food and clothes like we do already.
Okay.
And other items we have. We want to store them there. We want to open up a window or a door and just start handing everything out as we have it. Put up a sign that's open. We have goods. Come check it out and get free stuff. Then we would like to open the yard up because, of course, it'll have to be fenced off in order to open up a place. The yard we would like to start with our veterans. Now, we can get a veteran off the streets if he wants off the streets into a veteran program. I can make a phone call if they're off the streets. But not all the vets want that. Some of the vets don't trust the veteran affairs, or they've had things happen with them with their PTSD. They don't want to deal with them. They don't want to deal with the government anymore. We want to help those veterans to get off the streets and first start in the yard to where they could stay behind a fence yard. And if that works, have the veterans run that. Then we could start with other people and helping people get back into society or the help that they need. If they need to be in a facility, if they need to be seeing a doctor, if they need to be on marijuana. We send people for plant-based medicine because we meet a lot of mental patients that do not take their medications because it makes them ill. We so give out plant-based information to them on who to go see and who to talk to.
So about plant medicine, I didn't take my medicine today at my normal time, right, for my mental health and my acid reflux and all that, right?
Oh, no.
All that fun stuff. And I started to feel sick. And I was thinking, why do I feel sick right now? And the only hypothesis that I could come up with is because I did not take my medicine on time. And my body is hooked on it and feels as if I need it to feel normal. I don't like that. I don't like taking medicine every day. Like, first of all, I don't even remember half the time I need to take it. And then if I don't eat with it, I feel sick. If I don't take it, I feel sick. Like,
right.
What's it doing for me?
Right.
And I know I have a lot of stress right now, so it's not a good time to just wean off and figure it out. But I would like to find a medical doctor that's willing to work with me and wean me off of my traditional medicine,
right,
and get more on CBD and cannabis, and I want to do it the proper way,
right,
if there is a such way, right?
There is.
And I want to see if that can actually help me and make me a better person or a better version of myself without having to take pharmaceutically created
right
prescriptions.
That's one thing I want to talk about real quick is if you're taking pharmaceutical medications, do not stop taking them. Just because I said I stopped taking them, I was weaned off them by my medical doctor. Do not ever stop taking your medications and just start doing some CBD and THC. You can do that while you're taking your medications. And then what I did was all of a sudden I didn't need that Percocet full pill anymore. I was cutting them in half. Before I knew it, I was cutting them in fours. Before I knew it, I didn't need one for the day. I only needed two. Or, I was up to 6 10s a day. That's a lot of medication.
Yeah. seek professional guidance.
Please do. Do not
Consult
ever
your
just,
doctor before you
yes.
listen to us.
Always.
Well, I mean, you can listen to us, just don't act
Still,
on it.
still check with your doctor no matter what.
Absolutely.
Always.
Because I want everything to be done proper and right, and I want to get rid of that like high school stoner stigma
Yes.
that's around it, and I want to show that you can still be a professional.
That's where the word cannabis comes into
That's
use.
why I try to use it the most.
And I have the worst time of all not calling it weed, because I grew up calling it weed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna smoke that weed. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But no, cannabis is the word. But you want to say medical, and I'm a medical insurance specialist. I can tell you, if your doctor doesn't like you're on THC, he doesn't like you're on CBD, fire them and go find you a doctor that does. Because they're out there. There's a whole bunch of them out there that have no problem with it. And your doctor's not going to talk to you about it and bring it up to you. You have to ask your doctor about it. So if you're worried about your doctor and they might cancel you, say, hey, I've heard about CBD. I've heard about THC. What do you think that could do for my situation? See what your doctor says. You might be surprised on what your doctor says.
I also think you should just learn and research and see if it can, or if there's even documentation of it helping you with what you're going through, whatever your medical condition is. And it never hurts to just learn more about anything, because you're learning, and it will be a useful tool for you in the future.
Never stop learning.
Never.
And the more you learn, the more you can help somebody else with what you learn.
Absolutely. So back to the building. Are you trying to keep it in Glendale?
We're looking everywhere. Like, our storage is in Scottsdale right now because of prices. I found it cheaper in Scottsdale, and they let us use their vehicle they have anytime we want.
That's awesome.
So we do get some perks here and there as a nonprofit, but storage has been one of the ones we've had a hard time with. So someone wants to let us use a space for storage, hey, hit me up, please.
And what's the storage unit that's been helping you out right now? What's
Store Easy.
Okay.
We're right across the street from Mary Jane Smokewear. So
Okay, Store Easy in
Store
Scottsdale.
Easy in Scottsdale. Yeah.
Okay. And there's these purple boxes I keep seeing. Can you explain that to me? Because you said you're connected to it.
Yes. Y'all, look for these purple boxes. You see these beautiful boxes? You're going to see them everywhere. There's one over in the lobby here at AO. We want you to bring your donations of toiletries from now through November 3rd. November 4th, these boxes were made by beautiful Pause Consumption. If you're not following them, check them out. Pause Consumption is, along with Tom's Palms, on November 4th, is putting together bags for at high in. Now I'm getting it wrong, Allison. I'm sorry. It's called High for Humanity. That's it. I'm sorry. It says it right on the box. So High for Humanity is on November 4th, and we're going to take all these donations along with Plant, Body, and Soul is where it's going to be, and they're going to put all these donations together into bags and have them ready to hand out for our November Thanks Give Back on November 18th. So November 5th is our Thanks Give Back. It's going to be right here at AO, right here at the dealership. AZO. Well, it's Arizona Organic, so I say AO.
Okay. I see what you're doing.
It's kind of quite, it's been called that for quite some time, I think, AO.
Okay.
Was one of their nicknames, I guess. Anyways, we're going to be at the dealership, and we have so much going on. Like, there's so many people jumping in on this that it's going to be a lot of fun. So for our Thanks Give Back, we have people come and bring from our list of food we put out. It's turkey, canned green beans, canned pumpkin, dressing, sugar, flour, and butter. We had 10 chefs and bakers from this cannabis community cook it all up, and we served 600 turkey dinners and over 900 pieces of pumpkin pie, along with blankets and clothes, mainly for the winter time during that time. So to be able to pass out this year, all these bags of toiletries they're putting together, and they're hoping to have at least 500. They would love to have many more. So it's up to you, community, on how much you're going to put out there in these boxes. There are 20 of these boxes throughout the cannabis community. So y'all look for them and just bring a donation every time you come into one of the dispensaries or smoke shops. They're like literally all over the town.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if anybody's listening or sees this that wants to donate and doesn't know how to reach out to Tammy, feel free to reach out to me and I can get that to her, or we can coordinate together and make that happen. So for your Thanksgiving back, that you said that was when again?
November 5th. So the 4th, November 4th will be with Pause Consumption and Plant, Body, and Soul. And November 5th will be right here at Arizona Organics, the dealership, having a great event with a lot of their brands are going to be there. And hey, if you're a brand, you want to come, they're letting us invite anybody we want. So you're a brand, you want in, just DM me at Tom's Palms, and I answer those messages, by the way. So
okay, so explain more about your event then. On the
so
5th.
we have people to come in. We suggest that you bring from our list of food, which I just mentioned. Bring in as much of it as you want to get into the event. At that
so
time,
it's a canned good or supply
goods,
donation
turkey,
to enter?
all that stuff to enter into the party.
Okay.
And you come on in and just have a good time. So our ladies with the pink reef, of course, are going to be there. So everybody knows how they hook it up. And I just heard she got another one of those. What's the bong that flips over?
Gravity bong?
Gravity bong. She now has 2 of those that'll be set up at that event, along with her dab station.
Okay.
And you know the other brands are going to set up too. So coming out and have some fun. Pan Loco setting up. You got to come out and eat some of that Pan Loco food. Everybody loves Pan Loco.
Oh, it sounded like a perfect ad too. So you're getting really good at this communication.
And Miss Lovely, Arizona, is going to be doing all of our entertainment. We're so excited to have her. She works at 98.3, which is Support Radio, and 98.6. So you guys check her out and her show. She's so into all that music stuff out there. Like, she runs Guarded Hope.
Okay.
And we've been out with them every Sunday throughout the summer. And then we've done our separate ones once a month from them. But every Sunday we have been out with them, handing out cold water and food.
Okay, that's amazing. So after the 5th, when all the donations are collected, when do you guys start to cook? And when do you have it planned, the date that you're going to go and give it back out? Is it actually going to be on Thanksgiving?
It's going to be the Saturday before Thanksgiving. This is our 4th annual Thanksgiving back, by the way. Yes. So it'll be our 4th year doing it. So we all meet up. I think we're going to be meeting at the same spot, but I will be posting on that for sure on exact address. We'll be meeting up on November 18th, is the Saturday before Thanksgiving. We do it the Saturday before because there are so many other people out there on Thanksgiving handing out. They really don't, they can only eat so much out there. So we found doing it the Saturday before seems to help a lot more. And they really love it. We're looking forward to having people come out there. I believe we had 56 donors come out there last year and help us serve it all up, pass it all out. We, the chefs and bakers, guys, all DM me. I'm going to be hitting you up. If you're a chef and baker that did not help us out last year, hit me up. We're going to need more. And if you're in Tucson, get ready. We need your help. We know Tucson Grow is going to be helping us out there. They have a chef and a baker. We need some more chefs and bakers because we're going to be in Tucson on November 18th, also doing a give back. So we're going to be handing out turkey dinners, both places, Phoenix and Tucson.
That's so amazing. How does that make you feel personally? Like when you wake up in the morning and look in your mirror and like, oh my God, I'm doing this.
I don't really say that.
No?
I guess I should.
You don't give yourself credit for what you're doing? Are you just humbled like your dad? Was your dad humble?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Okay.
I guess so. I don't really think of it like that.
Yeah, you gotta give yourself credit.
Well, I think of myself more of a conduit that's been able to bring all these people together. Somehow I have that ability to just bring people together, and the people giving their donations. We started with people just cleaning out their closets. That's all we started with. So to be doing that and to grow to what we are now is like, wow. Yeah, it's really wow. And it's all been this cannabis community that's done it all. Like, seriously. I may be putting it out there, but if without their donations, we couldn't be putting it out there.
But without you, you wouldn't be able to get their donations.
That's true.
So this is all from you.
Thanks.
With the help of others. But, like, you did this. Like, be proud of yourself. Like, that's awesome.
Thanks.
So, what are some ways that you deal with struggles or like mental mental or like stressful situations that you cope positively with? Like, I don't want your unhealthy coping mechanisms. How do you handle it healthily?
First, I'm going to say, most people don't know this. I'm not Tom's Palms. Do you know I'm the founder, I'm the CEO right now, and the president and the director, but I'm not Tom's Palms. I am only those things. We have a whole board, and we have a vice president, we have a secretary, we have 2 other board members besides them, and we add to our board. Right now we're looking for a banker and an attorney to add to our board. We've had many attorneys help us in this community, in the cannabis community. It's been great. They make sure our paperwork's all right and all straight and we're good to go. So to deal with stress, because you have stress in this cannabis community.
You have stress in everyday life. Doesn't matter the community you're in.
So I don't want to say anything that sounds mean or rude, but the corporate world can be a bit of a struggle. People get into fights with each other, or we see things that happen and we stay out of them because I don't want to be part of that. That's not what we do. We're here to help people and love on people. So to back away from those kind of situations, my Tom's Palms board has helped me to not go there with anything or any of that. No drama stuff. We just lay back, sit back, and do our thing. Because all we're out here for is to help other people and feed and clothe them. Thanksgiving, we also have helped a family every year. We usually find a family, someone will DM me closer to Thanksgiving, and we've been able to give them a full meal. One time we're from Dylan's Barbecue, gave us a full meal for a family. We've had a turkey dinner last year that was given from our community to a family. So to keep doing those kind of things is just pretty awesome. For Christmas, we collect toys. We'll have boxes like these out everywhere for toys. And we helped 23 families in our cannabis community have a Christmas that would not have had one last year. And that was 86 kids, by the way, that we helped.
Wow. That just got to feel good because you have a lot of grandkids yourself. So being able to help on top of that is just amazing. And that has to refill you and keep you going.
So that is a difficult thing because I have to plan my Christmas, which I usually have my Christmas done before we do our Christmas event and start collecting. Usually my Christmas done, my toys are wrapped, all my Christmas things are under the tree. And I don't have to worry about my family then. I can concentrate on Tom's Palms event and getting all those toys to all the kids.
Okay. I like that you put your family first because I feel like that could cause a lot of like rift and problems and like probably even more stress. No.
Well, it's been a work in progress. So I'm a widow. And Roy and I met a little over 3 years ago.
Okay.
So a lot of people think we've been together forever. We have been together just over 3 years, and I have met him while I was in this cannabis community. So he wasn't, and I met him during COVID, actually.
Okay.
So we took a walk in the park as how it was our first date, because you couldn't go anywhere. But we've grown really close together. But, I have to make sure that I am thinking of him and that I'm not doing just Tom's Palms, because Tom's Palms is a lot to handle. So I'm so glad he jumped right in. He helps out. He's been out there many times with me giving back, especially that first year. But with all the grandkids we help out with, a lot of times he's home helping with those grandkids so I can be out.
How do you actively manage that? Like, it takes work to realize you have to do the right thing and putting the family first, right? So did you hit a wall with him first that like, oh man, you're neglecting me for Tom's Palms, or do you feel like you've always been good at managing it?
No, I think there was a time that we had to talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
There was. Yeah, I don't mind saying that. I don't think he would like I say, I'm an honest, truthful person. You can ask me anything. If I don't want to tell you something, I'm not going to tell you. but I'm honest about things. I'm not going to lie to you about anything. So.
Okay. I appreciate that. And with that, do you have any saved rounds? Anything I missed that you would like to discuss?
just the events coming up are really great that everybody knows about that. So do remember November 4th and 5th are events. November 18th is our Give Back. So make sure you mark those down on our calendars because we do need a lot of volunteers. And if you want to volunteer, please hit us up. Do we have a couple minutes for you to talk about volunteering?
Go for it.
So volunteering, you want to volunteer with us, just DM me or just show up. You see us at see us that we're going to be doing a Give Back. Come out and just show up and be there with us. Nothing particular, just show up hydrated, that you've already eaten and ready to go. You can either ride with someone or just help us pack stuff up and go home after that if you want, or take stuff to an area you know of, or go with us out where we go out. Any of those things help us. Donate by cleaning out your closets. But volunteering, we can sign off. Being a 501c3, we can sign off on volunteer hours. We've signed off on a couple of volunteers' court hours, which they have remained with us even after those court hours because they love what we do. So we love that too. Students, check it out. You can come volunteer for us. Every so many hours is like, I'm not positive, but I think it's every 20 hours is a quarter of elective credits for high school and college. My daughter graduated a year early from high school because of volunteering so much at a hospice
That's awesome.
when she was
that
young.
was an option.
So, yeah,
So it runs in your family to volunteer.
it does. It does.
Okay, that's amazing. Well, I would like to end the show every way I end every show, and I'm going to ask you to stand up and give me a hug.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you for being on the show.
I knocked that in there.